Okay. I will answer your questions now. So last satsang, we talked a little bit about inspiration, about looking at your own story as a seeker of truth and reading your own story without knowing it was your own story and see if you would be inspired by it. This is a very interesting exercise uh, because if you're on the right track, in a way you will feel inspiration by reading your own story, because what inspires you is that which makes sense in your path. So even these days, people that are looking at these things, which are just distractions of past incarnations and all of that, and everybody is kings or queens or something like that. But for those who give importance to these things, uh, so how will it be next life? When you look back, because at that speed there will be a next life. How will you look at that next life? Will you be impressed when you figure out what have you done? So this is important. So commenting on this friend is saying, no, I wouldn't be inspired compared with all I read about other sage. So there are many, many stories, and some will touch you more than others, and this will show you a little bit your heart's aspiration, what you would need to live, to be able to transcend difficulties. So this summer, this was another reason why I didn't go to Lakshmana. I had the feeling that they would not let me in. And the other teaching of someone else says he been there, so I told myself if they didn't pick him, surely not me. Well, it doesn't matter which choices, which obstacles are in front of you. To give a real step towards something which is uh, important in your spiritual path, you have to go beyond your world. And going beyond your world is much more important than the step in itself. So for example, this example of going to Lakshmana, a sage somewhere, for you to go there, you had to step over your own beliefs about yourself. So as you wanted to give a step which was important and meaningful, you had to go over your own world, and your own world about your low self-esteem, about your own value, about all these things. These are your beliefs. Not being able to do this, I'm not important enough. If the other one was not accepted, why not me? Well, I see a difference between these two. One is speaking a lot, this one was not accepted, and the other is at least it is being humble. So this humble one would have more chances for sure. But it doesn't matter in which circumstance, in which test. This is a test also. There is the desire to do this, but then your world of beliefs, of fears, everything comes up. And the question is, the decision that you are really making is, shall I embrace my fears, my beliefs about myself? Should I protect my reality, which is precious and dear because it brings me the suffering I need to maintain it? Or shall I move away from it, going beyond it? So this is the real decisions. So going there at that place could be the beginning of a new journey, surely. But if it was serious, and it was, going there would meant in some way, in some sense, leaving from where you were standing. And I'm not talking about this physical, because these are just circumstances created for this purpose, moving beyond what you call your own reality. This is the most important thing. So in every situation, what you're dealing with all the time is the boundaries of your own reality, of your, what you call your reality, and I say to it as your illusion. So to go there, all these things that arose, all these excuses, these are the boundaries of your world, that which is precious and maintains balance of what you experience as reality. So instead of going as a hero would move through a battlefield, you chose again to maintain your sadness about yourself, your weakness about yourself, and this vibration that it is there in failure, not being able enough, not it is a choice, and you chose this because this nurtures that reality where you're living. The other thing would release you from that reality, and that is quite scary for the majority. Quite scary. But understand that spiritual tests, they will come to see what is really more important to you. It doesn't matter how beautiful you can speak, how you can talk about spirituality or God and whatever. It doesn't matter, none of that. What matters is the decisions you are making, as you're still in a point where decisions have to be made. So this is the point, you see? And it doesn't matter from where you look, you're always going to be looking at your own illusion. And if the thing that you're proposing, if you don't have guidance not there, so you're doing what you can with what you have. So whatever is happening in your spiritual practices, in studies, and all of this, if it's not making this world rising, then it doesn't mean anything. It's just something that you are fitting in your delusion. Because eventually, if things become serious, and there is a point in that, then these things will arise, all those inner beliefs about yourself, everything which is there to defend that reality will arise. And either you go through it, which is quite, it ranges almost impossible, because it is unknown, unseen. Fears arise. Or you go back from where you were again, and you feed those cycles, because there is an energy, a vibration, the vibration of ripping delusion, of going beyond what I see as possible. There is confidence in this if you go through it. On the other, and this is a vibration. On the other hand, if you because I'm not worthy enough, I don't blah, 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 this is another vibration. And your delusion has a vibration also. So anything that goes against this vibration is threatening, And this is just the tip of the iceberg, Because what would happen if you were chosen? what would happen? Surely it would bring other fears, because first one is, okay, should I go? Shouldn't I go? Will I be accepted, rejected? This is first one. But let's suppose you would be accepted. Then what would that mean to your world and your precious things? So each step you go through, or not. I have difficulty to adapt in the family and the world. I was always solitary. Yes, this is something that is a part of a seeker of truth, the one who has an inner calling. So, in this moment, uh, things are quite intense, because there is a strong pulling, this higher amongst all people, more or less. They are experiencing this. There are more individuals being called with this crying from inside. But the conditions, they are also rising at that highest, at that level, to bring a balance. So the calling is there, but attachments, seductions, all of this increase to make you weak, to make you dependent, to avoid you, because there's nothing innocent. The world is not innocent, and there's only one game being played. Maintenance of illusion or breaking from delusion, dissolving illusion, maintaining illusion, dissolving illusion. Only that which is being played. The rest is just make believe. And for those who have this calling and still and this dependence on everything else, they are living, experiencing that how do you say this, that situation, see, because they cannot adapt, that restlessness, it doesn't let them adapt, and they don't find the strength to move beyond their world. The strength is there, only if they could dare to go through, they would see it. For everyone, everybody has the strength. In worldly life, people, oh, I'm very weak, I can't do this and do that, and then life squashes. And eventually they go through so much things, they will, in the hard way, discover strength they never thought that was there, because being weak was very useful in that their own reality. Because if you are weak, others around you can solve your problems and all like that, and protect you, and you feel accepted, and blah 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 blah. So everything is useful, but also has consequences. But for these who are living this call and not being able to answer it fully, they experience this. They don't fit in one place because this demands that they grow up, and they are left in another place which they don't really get any satisfaction, realization, purpose, meaning. But still, where do they stand? And they stand where they choose, where it is better, whatever that means. So this has to be evaluated. Even more now, I don't want to see anybody. From the point where the situation is now, here, it takes everything for not running away, but I always run away. So this is the point, see? So this worrying about, am I going to be accepted? Am I not going to be accepted? This is secondary, because this is to avoid the last one. Because eventually it is always about you. Always about you. Going, not going, this is your choice. Doesn't matter the reasons, only the final choice. But eventually, if you always run away, it is about you, it's not about being accepted or not, but about how much do you really want it. Hmm? How precious is that inner calling compared to what you deem already your life, your human life, as nothing of value, nothing importance, it doesn't make sense, and all of this. But still, this is where you stand. And from the rest, that is from where you run away. And it is your life, your time. It is. It is a tragedy if only for you it is a tragedy. On the other hand, you know I don't need to tell you, see my willingness, yes, but mine is not quiet, not yet. I have trouble to sustain the mantra all day, of course, and I have a problem to sit still. It is fluctuating and move a lot. Of course, you see, things are not ready-made, and those decisions, those beliefs, those uh, things that you need to do and you're not being able to do when running away, this makes a difference in the silence that it is there, in being able, that silence, in being able to sit still, because sit still has no purpose in itself. It has. If it's not to bring that agitation from within and for you to release that agitation, and that comes with choices and all of these things. In the beginning, these gross things are important. Then, as you go through these gross things, big decisions in your life, and you surrender and compromise and dedicate yourself completely, fully, unquestionably to the divine quest, then it becomes quite different. But in the beginning, all these turmoils are there. It doesn't matter whatever you do, but what you choose to do, whatever you do or whatever you say, but what you really do. Hmm? This is what counts. So this mind is not quiet, have trouble to sustain the mantra all day. This is part of the work. It is like this. And this doesn't mean you're not suited. It means work has to continue until you get, but for the work to continue, it's not about repeating the mantra all day. Repeating it will bring these vibrations to your beliefs and start to dissolve them. But to dissolve them, things have to happen. See? So these fears that you are experiencing you will have to go through. You will have to make decisions that are your own decisions. You cannot compare this to anyone else in the world. And I brought this inspiration about reading the story of the sages because it gives you some hints about your own situation, your own path. Hints, that's all. But for more silence to be there, for you to sit still, for the mantra to be able to be there all the time, because this is making the mind sacred, vibrating into this sacredness. If mundane things, if attachments, fears, angers, all this is there, it cannot remain all the time. So one has to leave for the other to remain. So when the mantra goes, noise stays and continue. When the mantra stays, noise goes. It is a fighting, a vibrational fight. And as you persist, doesn't matter your capabilities, you are affirming your will. And if you persist in not doing anything, this is affirmation also. If you persist in putting this in front, no, no, this is too soon, you are making a decision also, you're persisting also. So you're always persisting. Is this word really quite correct? Well, I hope you're understanding what I'm saying. But you're always making decisions. Always making decisions. Honestly, I don't want to waste your time. My time, you cannot waste it because this is what my time is for. It is not about you or anybody else. It is about what it is about, whatever that means. It is your own time that should be worrying about, not mine. If you ask questions here, I will give the answers. Sometimes I don't give answers, and that is an answer also. And sometimes I give answers that you were not expecting, or intense, strong, unpleasant answers if that is the need. But you're not wasting my time. If there's any time you can be wasting, is your own. And this mode of communication and the English problem make it worse. Well, if this is a problem from your side, that will be a problem from my side also, because my English is as good as yours. So this is what is available. My English is what is available. If it will improve, well, let's see. But this is what it is. And your level of English, from where you're standing, it is what it is also. So everyone does the best with what they have. And those who are really interested and wanting, they will use it the utmost. And if it has to improve, it will improve. So this is unimportant. To be honest, I am dyslexia, so that is the reasons why I sound confused. I have heard so many people with no dyslexia problems that sound much more confused than you do. If I'm 100% honest, I feel I don't meet your minimum, and now here I am at my utmost. So imagine not being suitable. And here you are back again in your world, taking assumptions or whatever. Maybe you expect that if you went to Lakshmana, he would somehow, if your world wouldn't have sustained, the opposite of your world would be the receiving the value and acceptance of Lakshmana, for example, or my own or whatever. And this would bring what is missing in your world. And things are not really like that, you see? As one step is given, the next is there until nothing else is left. But this is your world arising again. This is you giving the excuses to remain where you are. And my friend, I have no problem absolutely with that. That is your time, your decision. If you're in peace with your heart, it's like this. If you're not, well, so it is always like this. And understand, you have been through this situation maybe 3 or more times, counting with this one, and you're arising by yourself. You never went there to Lakshmana. You are putting this now to me. This is something new for you, but because you're having this opportunity to speak directly. But it is the same, you're having the same experience. And this this topic, I will discuss it in one next satsang, this relationship with yourself. So whenever there is a serious step to be given, this step is to move away from your delusion, to be able to go beyond your world. And as you come closer and closer, all fears come intensely to make you go back. You're a prisoner of that reality. That reality depends on you. It's not you that depend on her. That reality depends on you. And it will come intensely. Go back from where you crawled. Go back. So all these things intensely, you're not good enough. You don't have value enough. This acceptance, rejection, this security, all these things will come. And where is faith? Where is surrender? What is giving yourself fully to the divine? What is this? So when you make the right choices, you allow that your heart is filled. And this is something that fear cannot give you. Absolutely not. Because there is beauty, unimaginable beauty waiting for those who there. So what you're suffering about, this is crumbs. This is a disrespect for your divine nature, for what you really are. This is the waste of time. That is the real waste of time. And you're not allowing that greatness to arise, to emerge, and to flood your heart. This is your lost. Because delusion wants you to be as you are. Everybody around you wants you to be as you are, like that. Because this maintains everything, whatever that means. Okay. I will answer Jacqueline. Thank you so much. I am so fragile. As I get more and more in contemplation, it gets harder even to stay connected to the source. I know I have a long way to go yet, but I trust. Since I have started to listen to your satsangs, I feel it resonates very much inside, because your way of teaching is simple and profound for me. Okay, so I am so fragile. I have a long way to go yet, but I trust. Don't trust, intensify. So this is kind of comes to what we were talking about. These beliefs that make you stay. You know, it's like a machine gun pointing at your head. If you move, you die. So these beliefs, they entertain you, make you waste your time in things that don't mean anything to you anymore. Or if they do, they are just crumbs for what they could be. For you, the one who has the call, not the rest, not talking to the rest. Because these words are for those who have the calling. And I don't use all these terminologies that these days are used, because I don't want to seduce anyone with spirituality, with the spiritual quest. This is not to, there's no point in increasing greed, because those who come with greed purpose only, they create more confusion than. So these beliefs, I am fragile, all of this, if the quest is there, the calling is there, you have everything you need. You just need to trust and move, not just trust waiting, because I'm fragile, so I trust and things will happen. Arise, arise and move. Everybody says, I'm God. I am the infinite source, everything. Okay, so act like you're that. Act like it. It's not just about mental concepts. Put them in practice, arise to that level, and then you'll see. Then you'll see. Or else it will just nice words, just nice words. That makes you even more sad with your situation. If you're there, the calling is there. You have everything you need. You just need to give the step. Sometimes that step needs, it seems that you're going to die, explode. But as the more intense it presents itself, the greater it is. And the more, how do you say this, potential that has of greatness. It is like this. So eventually, your mind leads to according to your values, the current values. So this is why it cannot be trusted. It can be trusted if you train it to obey, to listen and obey. If you train it to work for the highest, replacing the values by knowing what is right, do it no matter what happens. You can train it like this, and then it can be of some use. And it will be more prepared for guidance to come. So the other question was, now there was another question. It was not just this, but the other one was lost. It had to do with inspiration. So what to do? And I think I answered this already. Try to see what inspires you, which stories inspire you. Read these stories, because these stories, the stories of the saints, they are alive. Like a scripture, it is alive, it is a living uh, consciousness, and you can access it and you can embed yourself with that. It is much alive. So reading with your eyes only doesn't bring too much. But if you touch the life of that story, this will help you a lot. So reading these stories and looking at your own life, this is quite useful, because you can see what is your heart longing for. Longing for. And they are speaking the same. You see, your heart's longing and your fears are speaking the same language. They are. Because fears tells you where you have to cross, and you interpret, I have to run away from this. But it's not. They are saying you have to go through here, and your heart is pointing the same direction. So everything is speaking the same language. You have to understand the language. Or your fears tell you surrender, or there. The heart is saying there. So it is the same. There is the map. The map lies in front of you. And there are those who look behind, and they're precious. The things that are precious for them, it's still connected to the world and all these things, and There are others that they follow the heart, and they have different experiences. You see, the one that follows the heart eventually finds divine love, glory, greatness, totality. The one who finds fear will find, who follows fear will find suffering, sadness about himself, failure, dealing with these energies, rejection about himself, others, on all these things. So they will have different experiences. But if that is what you need, so eventually you will be always dealing with your world. And if you're in front of a test, this is what is arising there. This is the boundaries of your delusion. And they are saying, stay put in that place. Go back to your old investments. Let it go. Stop. If it can seduce you to let things go, good. If it cannot, it will terrify you. But it will use whatever means possible. Hmm? Okay. Hmm. How to control fear and anxiety. Hey, this is too many things coming inside. Oh, okay. So this is the same question, but from your. Okay. Okay, Janice, I will answer to you. So, how to overcome fear and anxiety? How to meditate as a beginner? Well, there is a satsang which I spoke about meditation. So, it is better for you to check that satsang because it is more complete. It is, I think, uh, about 40 minutes talking about just for beginners. I taught a meditation technique with mantra, and this is good for you to start. Mm. It's not the technique, it's a technique. Mm. And whatever technique, you embrace it and you work on it intensely. It is explained there, so it is better for you to see that satsang uh, because it is more complete than I can resume here in 5 minutes. I don't know if there is a title in the satsang, not yet, but there are not so many. Hmm? Okay, it will send you this satsang through the chat. Hmm? Uh, so it will be more complete. But overcoming fear and anxiety, you have to be exposed to it. You see, you will not overcome fear. And I've spoken also about these in other satsangs. So if you're there, if you're watching this for the first time, you can go and see the other satsangs. They don't have titles yet because those who are taking care of this, they are doing this with the utmost care, but they are very few, you see, and they don't have time. They have their own spiritual practices and they don't have time to do all these things that require a lot of time. So for this reason, things are not as the best they are, but they are there. So I advise those uh, who feel interested or touched in any way to go and watch the other satsangs. Uh, so I've spoken about this and I will talk again. So when you're in front of a spiritual test or whatever, or even if you're a beginner, it is more or less the same thing. Hmm? To overcome fear, it's not about empowering yourself, because empowering yourself, you're only empowering fear also, because you're believing that you are less, that you are weaker uh, compared to that which is in front of you. So as you strengthen yourself to make yourself more strong than what's in front of you, what is causing you fear, you are empowering fear because you are affirming its superiority, its existence. So you are really empowering fear. You see, if the bus is coming, you're in front of the situation, it feels like the bus is coming in front of you and will go over you and squash you. What you have to do is stay still and see what happens. There is no other way, because you can go through little fears, but fear is fear. It doesn't have a face. It's not fear of this or fear of that. So if you conquer this situation by that method, it will increase in different ways. So eventually, stillness is always the key. Silence is always the key. So fear, anxiety, they are there to protect the boundaries of your delusion. It's their only function. It's a mechanical function. There's no reason behind it. So eventually, as you allow yourself to remain still and see what happens, you will see what happens, even as bad as it can be, most of the times is nothing compared to what you thought it would be. It has nothing to do even what you thought it would be. But sometimes it gets bad. But even that bad will never come close to what you expected, what you imagined. Hmm? And as bad as it is, it's just that and the intensity of it, the, the much that you have suffered until that moment, fighting with it, strong, it's nothing compared to that little experience of fear, as bad as it can get. So this will give you the notion, the clear notion that these are just boogeymans, chickaboos, just to make you remain where you are. There is nothing innocent. So situations, people around you, all of this will conspire to make you stay there. Eventually, if you're too attached and all of this, if this wasn't there, you would conspire. So these fears and anxieties, you have to learn to remain still. And that means not trying to fight it. It's like the gun is pointing in your head. You move, you die. Okay, so I move. Let's see what happens. Doesn't matter if you're trembling inside, almost fainting. If you can go through it, give that step, you will see a lot about what is the nature of what you call reality. So if you start your practices, meditation, if you intensify it with the purpose of freedom, answering the call from the heart, you will see that your surroundings will start conflicting with your practice because it is a shock in vibration. And then fears will start to rise. First small ones, little ones, connecting to personality and all of this, down to survival issues that length. And it can come slowly, it can come intensely, and it will change also along the way. If you let yourself be impressed by it, if you waver, then you will strengthen the sovereignty that these fears have on you. If you dare to go through it, it's like fighting a bully. There's a bully that is harassing you and hurting you and threatening you. If you could find the inner strength to fight back every time and every time, or even striking him when he was not seeing it, taking the consequences because he would later catch you and you will get it again. But if you could continue doing this, he would give up on you and he would let you go eventually. So it's kind of the same mechanism. See, it doesn't matter how big it is. If you dare, it cannot hold you for so long, because eventually fears feed on you. They feed on you, and without your attention, without you being pressed, they start to weaken and weaken and weaken until they dissolve, and you will see that it was a nothing. But only those who dare by faith can see this. Even without faith, if you dare, you will see, even if it is just a little bit, but that little bit makes a huge impression in your world. It's like a hand grenade that falls there. Okay, now I will answer your questions. So this is a number that has been calling. and you will not get an answer to that because as I explained in the beginning, this WhatsApp number is just for satsang purpose, not for interaction directly here on personal video calls or whatever. So um, this is why, and the majority of time it is disconnected. I connected only about when it is to satsang, or for the messages can be sent for you to know that satsang will begin. So this is why. So hi, what is the technique of meeting with my spirit guide? I don't know what this is. If this is what I imagine it to be, well, well, and this is in the same line then is what is the technique of self-inquiry? So are you in a moment that you are watching different techniques? Because these are like, you see the distance from uh, one galaxy to the other galaxy, these two questions. So this is kindergarten and the other is much more different. So I know there are these things there, but this is just experiencing, playing, and trying to move a little bit from the concept that the world it is now. But this is not it's not intense yet. Still just exploring. The technique of self-inquiry. This is where you let go of the majority of what you think it's real and start going deeper into the nature of your own existence, finding the source of identity. So, as you are not able to remain at the source of the I, you hold on to the I thought, apart from everything else. As you are in the middle of these inner pullings or whatever, you hold on to that I thought until you are ready to abide in the source of the I. So this would be a more complex, but the question is more or less in this level of a curiosity. If you have more questions, if it is beyond curiosity, send and I will answer. But the best questions is the ones that are important to you and you are identifying with it and you make it personal. This is where more can be said. This is just general questions. Some I won't even answer, others I give general answer. It's like this. Okay, so now it is for you. In WhatsApp, this is also an advantage because I can reply and say that I'm going to answer the question. So, dear Shrima, could you please say something about this passion? This passion is an exalted state of understanding that the only value is that which is calling your heart and nothing else. So this passion, uh, it is passion directed to what is important. And this passion is told about worldly investments, shallow, hollow investments. It doesn't matter if they are in a worldly content or in a spiritual content, as long as the values that the system are worldly, are about improving circumstances of the dream, improving life. They are still hollow, shallow, and this passion, it is very important. This clarified on look to that, to the perception of the value of what you call reality. But passion has to be there for the truth, the highest goal. And when you're established in that quest, completely established, then also this passion that doesn't cease the movement towards that. These words, difficult. Difficult because you will give different meanings to this, but in a more concrete way, this passion is a need. This passion is a need towards human life, towards all worldly goals, anything which can be gained um, through this world, in that reality. So this passion comes first as detachment. You practice detachment to uh, so that this passion can arise, can grow inside of you. So these attachments, they are passions towards images of happiness that appear in your inner space of perception that you don't know where it is coming from, what is the purpose, and the purpose is just to keep you distracted. So everything is there, dreams, nightmares, fears, attachments, hopes, all of this is ingredients that make the soup of your delusion. So detachment from all of this, and the stronger the attachment, the urgency, the bigger the urgency to break it. So all these things, as you move and you detach from these things, this passion will become a natural state. A state where you're not touched by desires, afflictions, and all of this. You become untouched. They cannot touch you, and you can remain in silence and in these higher vibrations, more and more and more and more. And the highest the vibration is, the deeper the roots can be uprooted. If you want to know a little bit more about this passion, you can ask, send in different questions which are more connected to your personal needs. Then it becomes more elaborated, because these words, that the purpose is for you. So the more you open up, the more they can become concise. Okay? So we'll wait 5 more minutes to see if there is more questions about what was taught today. And then we will end if there's no questions. So this weekend there will not be satsang. So the next satsang will be Tuesday. Next week, Tuesday. If this is important for you, share these satsangs with others, because they are not for so many, and these words are here for those who are in the quest for freedom, who has this inner calling. So for the satsang to has a purpose, there must be someone who is asking and willing and asking questions. If there's not, well, then no purpose being here, because there is already a lot of things available, and it is like this. So next satsang will be Tuesday, and then Thursday, and we'll see after what will follow. But what I can tell you before we end is this: whatever your attachment is apart from the divine, this is the cause, the root of your suffering, of all your sufferings. Even if there wasn't any suffering, if it is disturbing, taking away your opportunity to merge with the divine, this is the biggest loss. Biggest. Okay. So until next week, meditate, intensify your practices. Or not.